Hi guys and welcome back. Just to let you know, in this week's video there are chapters so you can choose what is right for you.
There are detailed explanations, technical and practical, and then finally our conclusion. So take your pick and enjoy.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be reviewing the Allpowers R1500 portable power station and 200 watt solar panel. So what exactly is it? How does it work? And most importantly, what can it do for you? By the end of this video, our aim is that all of these questions will have been answered. The R1500 is an all-in-one battery powered generator, so everything that you need is already built into the unit. Before we get into the finer details of its workings, let's explain why we think it's an essential bit of kit to own. Firstly, it's perfect for emergency situations when power outages can unexpectedly occur. With the recent storms here in Ireland, some of the worst in modern history, thousands of people found themselves cut off from the grid for several days and in some cases even weeks, finding themselves unable to do the most basic of things, such as charging their phones, keeping an internet router going, plugging in a lamp, or listening to the radio or watching TV to catch a daily news bulletin for unfolding events. These things we generally take for granted, but can soon realise if the grid goes down, the helplessness that follows. This is where the Allpowers R1500 really comes into its own. When fully charged, it can comfortably cope with keeping these things going for hours, days, and even weeks, subject to their usage. So the big questions are, how do we determine what appliances the Allpowers R1500 can run and for how long? What devices will it charge and how many times will you be able to charge them? To fully understand the Allpowers capabilities and to make an informed decision whether it meets your specific requirements, it's vital to understand the basics of how the battery-powered generator works. Every electrical appliance, device or charger has its own power rating, and they can be dramatically different with each model and type. There is no one answer fits all to what can be used or charged by the R1500, or for how long and how many times. There is, however, a simple way to get all of the answers for yourself, enabling you to work out whether the R1500 or indeed another Allpowers model can do what you want it to do, and understand what you are paying for and whether it is worthwhile. This can all be achieved by using simple maths. All you need is a calculator and the power rating measured in watts from the data sticker or owner's manual of your appliance, charger or device. It's just the four basics: adding, subtracting, multiplication and division. No need for any complicated fractions or anything scientific. By taking just a little time over a few simple calculations, you'll be able to dump the online forums and answer all of these questions for yourself. So let's break it down. Allpowers generators contain a 12-volt lithium iron phosphate battery which can be charged in one of four ways: solar panels, a gas, petrol or diesel generator, a 12-volt vehicle output socket, or a mains outlet in the home. It is then fed to your devices through a built-in inverter. The inverter's job is to take the power from the battery and convert it from 12 volt to 230 volt, or whatever the nominal voltage is in your country. The inverter is pure sine wave, which in simple terms means a smooth flow of power equal to that found in the everyday home. It offers protection when running or charging sensitive equipment without causing damage. The type of device you wish to run or charge will have its own power rating measured in watts. This can more often than not be found on the data sticker attached to the device or charger, or in the owner's manual. The higher the number of watts, the more power is required. The Allpowers battery capacity and its inverter's maximum power output are also rated in watts. So the larger the rating of battery and inverter, the more power the generator will store and produce, the longer your devices will run and the more charges you will be able to achieve. In general, the model of generator will get physically bigger, heavier, and have a higher price point the more you climb the scale. So now for the calculations. We need to break this down into two parts. For A, running an appliance or device, or B, charging an appliance or device. The reason for this is that the calculations are slightly different. When an appliance or device runs continuously, we can accurately work out the amount of power required. So for example, you have a hot plate that is rated at 1000 watts and you run it for 15 minutes. The 1000 watt rating means that the hot plate will consume 1000 watts in 1 hour of use. So if we were to run the hot plate for 15 minutes, the calculation is 1000, the rating of the hot plate, divided by 60, as there are 60 minutes in 1 hour, then times by 15, the amount of time the hot plate was actually run for. This equals 250 watts. So to run the hot plate for 15 minutes, we'll use 250 watts, therefore removing 250 watts from the Allpowers battery. To make things a bit more user-friendly, the battery level will show on the Allpowers display as a percentage left. When it comes to charging, we need to take into consideration the amount of time it takes the device to charge. Although this is an estimation, most people become quickly accustomed to how long this will take and from what level. Most commonly, a smartphone will take approximately 2 hours to charge from 0 to 100% using a standard charger. A fast charger may take only an hour or even 30 minutes. Your knowledge of how long it takes your phone to charge and knowing the power rating of your phone's charger are essential information for knowing how much power you are going to be taking out of the Allpowers battery and how many times this can be done. As described before, the power rating of a charger is measured in watts, and more specifically, how many watts the charger will consume within 1 hour.
So now that Brendan has baffled us with science and we've got all of the tech stuff out of the way, it's time for me to put it through its paces, see what it's capable of, and most important of all, tell you what we think of it. As many of you already know, we live completely off-grid, so these battery-powered generators are part of our everyday life. To give the R1500 a thorough test, I'm going to carry out a number of our usual tasks to see how it holds up. Firstly, I'm going to cut up a number of these fallen branches as a result of Storm Eowyn. So let's see how it copes with the reciprocating saw. So I've been using it for about 15 minutes and it's coped really well. no loss of power with remarkably consistent output. Something else that we have to do regularly is charge our power tool batteries. With most of our power tools being cordless, it's just as important to us that we have a way to quickly and fully charge them as it is to be able to use corded tools. So the Allpowers R1500 has plenty of capacity to deliver many charges on a daily basis, including our camera and drone batteries, mobile phones, tablet and laptop. If you are a regular viewer, you'll be well aware of our love for reclaimed pallets. We have spent many hours cutting them up using a jigsaw, and the R1500 is doing a brilliant job of now supplying the power for this task. As seen in one of our previous videos, during the winter I dry my hair using the heat produced from our diesel heater. However, in the summer, when the diesel heater is not in use, I have the option of using this low wattage hairdryer. It is rated at 1000 watts, so comfortably within the 1800 watt max power limit of the R1500's inverter. So just a few minutes later, and it's all done. Almost every evening, to wind down after a hard day's work, we enjoy watching a few hours of TV. We are quite into our movies, so have some fairly power-hungry tech, including a 4K TV, Blu-ray player and surround sound. After testing the R1500 for a couple of weeks, we have determined that it will run our setup for approximately 5 hours every evening from a full battery. Setting the solar panels up for the first time is extremely easy. In the side pocket, you will find the connecting cables which clip together, and this can only be done in one way. Now it is time to position the panels. They work best when facing directly at the sun and can be moved several times throughout the day to track the sun and maximise their efficiency. First, undo the two clasps that are holding the panels together. They can now be unfolded one at a time whilst positioning the built-in supports as you go. Next, it's time to connect the cables into the matching yellow socket positioned on the side of the R1500. After a few seconds, the display will show the amount of watts being brought into the unit from the panels. With enough sun and over time, you will see the battery percentage on the unit's display start to rise. The time it takes for the solar panels to charge the R1500 is dependent on the position of the panels, the amount of time that they are out, and the strength of the sun. On a bright sunny day, assuming the panels are bringing in a continuous minimum of 150 watts, the R1500 would charge from 0 to 100% in approximately 8 hours, or from 50% in about 4 hours. In comparison, when plugged into a household socket, the unit would charge from 0 to 100% in approximately 45 minutes. To pack the panels away, firstly remove the cable from the yellow socket before folding the panels one at a time from one end to the other while securing the supports as you go. Finally, click back the clasps into position and your panels are now ready for storage. They are lightweight to carry, which is a major benefit, however can be susceptible to stronger winds when out on a breezy day. So now we've come to the final section of our video, and that's the review. In the interest of transparency, we were sent this product free of charge to create a review. However, the opinions we are about to give are ours alone and a true reflection of our findings. Over the past 3 years, we've been using a very similar battery-powered generator for many of our off-grid needs. Therefore, we feel we understand these products really well, so can review the R1500 with confidence. Firstly, we have to say that we feel it's an incredibly impressive piece of kit, especially at the price point compared to its rivals. The build quality is excellent and it feels really robust. It doesn't feel cheap and it looks like it's built to last. As for charging capabilities, we took it to work and tested it through a mains power outlet, and it charged from 0 to 100% in 47 minutes, which we thought was excellent. Charging through a vehicle's 12-volt outlet socket is slow, but that's to be expected. However, when travelling long distances and you're putting the miles in, it is a useful addition. When charging the unit with the accompanying 200-watt solar panels, we found the results to be excellent. The panels work extremely well, even in low sunlight, and deliver a good return. We managed to charge the unit from 0 to 100% in just 7 hours on the last clear sunny day that we had. The one downside that we found is as they are quite lightweight, they can be easily flipped over on a breezy day. So leaning them against a wall or placing them in front of a hedge will create the shelter needed, which will really help in this situation. We haven't tested charging the unit with our generator yet, as at this time of year we have no need. However, we will be posting an update when this becomes necessary. Before we get on to the many more positives, here are a couple of things that we see as a slight downside. The first one I personally found difficult was the weight. It's like carrying around a fully packed suitcase, which is okay over a short distance, but over long distances I know I would struggle, although that wouldn't be the same for everyone. The only other slight issue that we have found, as we have the EU version, is that pushing in the travel adapters is a little fiddly. However, for occasional use, such as emergency situations, camping trips and days out, etc., this wouldn't be an issue for us. Returning to the positives, the R1500 is really quiet in operation, certainly in comparison to our other battery-powered generator, which has a really noisy fan. You can also download an app, which is really simple to use, enables you to monitor the battery level and turn on and off certain functions. However, the good news is that to run the R1500, you are not reliant on the app or software updates, which as we all know can be glitchy. It is worth noting that the units are interconnectable, so by adding more, you can increase your battery capacity and also your power output. The scenarios where we see the R1500 working at its best are when there's a power outage, whether that's because of a storm or the electricity company is doing maintenance, for all aspects of off-grid life, in daily use as we do, and for using tools and equipment where electricity is not available, or it would be a brilliant addition to any camping or fishing trip, long days out, and even remote working. We definitely think this would be an ideal solution for power in a shed or home office at the bottom of the garden, particularly if used in conjunction with a solar panel and/or the ability to charge it on a daily basis at your home. So whether it's charging your mobile, camera or power tool batteries, running your laptop or watching TV, a travel hairdryer and a pump for a blow-up mattress or inflatables, there are just so many situations when the Allpowers R1500 would come into its own. So in conclusion, and at its price point, we definitely feel that it's an affordable option and really good value for money. For an extra 10% off for this or any of the other Allpowers products, click the link in our description and enter the promo code. We thank Allpowers again for sending us these two products. We do highly recommend them. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them. Thank you for watching.